Police hit the ground in full force as new crime-fighting strategies are activated.
A referendum on constitutional changes for gender equality set to take place before the end of the year. Find out more in the Bahamas tonight.
And the Zika virus, a global emergency. The response from the #1 industry. The Bahamas tonight, the national report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
The war on crime is on, and police plan to leave no stones unturned. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And good evening, I'm Charisma Robinson.
But first to news tonight, this developing story, the government signing moments ago a multi-million-dollar heads of agreement with CB Commander Limited and CH Amir Limited for the first of its kind 5-star eco-friendly boutique-style resort to sit on 2 keys in the Exumas. Now our Clint Watson is just back from that signing and joins us live with the details. Good evening to you, Clint.
Good evening, Keishla. Prime Minister Honorable Perry Christie says it's yet another indication of foreign investors' strengthened confidence in the economic policies of his administration and bodes well in all aspects for the people of the Bahamas.
It is clear that Exuma is placing itself on the map of the Bahamas as a high net worth destination.
And with that, the government and investors CB Commander Limited and CH Admiral Limited concretized a deal for development of a $200 million eco-friendly high-end luxury resort on neighboring islands, Children's Bay Key and Williams Key, both 15 minutes off the northern coast of Baratari, Exuma. Children's Bay Key will be developed into an exclusive 5-star ultra-luxurious resort and golf club and will feature a boutique 50-pavilion room hotel, 5 over-the-water pavilions, 5 estate homes, a clubhouse, spa, gym and pilot center, a marina village with restaurants and small cinema complex, also a nature and environment center, a marina park and 20-slip marina. Williams Key will be a private section of the resort and will contain an ecological-oriented 18-hole golf course designed by Tom Fazio, 15 to 20 villas, welcome center, nature trails, seaplane, and helipad. A bridge will link both keys. Prime Minister Right Honorable Perry Christie says the resort will add to the economic and social development of the Exumas and will impact the local residents significantly.
The developer will construct and fully outfit a medical clinic, a police station, and a fire station at Baratari, which will be transferred to government and staffed and maintained by the relevant agencies. Also planned for development on acquired private land at Baratari is the project's back-of-house facility, a solar farm, support services, and a residential subdivision for resort employees.
Mr. Christie anticipates a significant increase in business activities for Bahamians.
In the areas of small aircraft services, boat and ferry services, food, beverage, hardware, material suppliers, fuel suppliers, security services, brokerage, freight and logistic businesses, maintenance, waste and refuse disposal services, construction, industry-wide contractors, and intra-island transportation. The developer, in partnership with BAMSI, will train and support local Exumian farmers for the supply of fruits and vegetables to the resort. Employment prospects for the residents of Exumas will be increased significantly as the project intends to employ 350 to 400 Bahamians for construction works over a 5-year period. The projection of the number of employees required for resort management and operations within the first 2 years is 223 persons. And within 3 years to 8 years, there will be 312 persons employed.
Owner Donna Bertarelli is a member of a prominent Swiss family. Admitting that Exuma is the most beautiful place on earth, she's adamant the development will be super environment friendly, not to damage the beautiful heritage.
The result will be low rise, low density. All the accommodations will be designed to blend with the natural surroundings. 60% of Children's Bay Key will be preserved as green space. Mangroves will be enhanced. Any significant trees that have to be moved, and we're moving as few as possible, will be held in a nursery and cared for prior to planting in a favorable spot. We will use as much solar energy as possible. Sewage, the least glamorous topic of a glamorous resort, will go through tertiary treatment and be recycled for irrigation.
Now we're told that the project is expected to get underway sometime this year, construction beginning about the third quarter of the year. Charisma, back to you.
Thanks so much, Clint. As crime levels in the country continue to escalate, many question what's being done by government and those in law enforcement. The Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security have both said new crime-fighting strategies will be announced by the Commissioner of Police, Alison Greenslade. Well, those plans have yet to be released, but despite the noise in the market, the police chief says his team remains on the ground and is committed to keeping the Bahamas and its citizens safe. More from C.S. Galloway.
With close to 10 homicides on record for 2016, an increase in armed robberies, shootings, and even home invasions, there's no denying that law enforcement officials have their hands full when it comes to combating crime. In recent weeks, Commissioner of Police Alison Greenslade has been heavily criticized for not releasing the latest crime-fighting initiatives. Well, the police chief is speaking out on the issue.
When everybody else is losing their head, I believe as the chief law enforcement officer of this country, I should hold mine. And so I will try to choose my words carefully at each turn. And I could assure you, we are fully active. We'll continue to move with those initiatives that continue to work. We are connected into the wider international community. I sit as commissioner at the very highest executive levels in law enforcement in the world. I'm not sure that I'm lost. I have a fair understanding of what we should be doing. But I make the point, law enforcement and police officers cannot fix these problems that exist today in the Bahamas alone.
While addressing the police's annual church service Sunday, Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage, also spoke to the vexing issue. He took the opportunity to defend the work of officers who on a daily basis put their lives on the line to ensure that all who live and work in the Bahamas are safe. It's a task, he says, that often goes unnoticed.
Police officers have always been unfairly expected to be the whole and the sole solution to the crime problem. As police officers, you run towards danger, not because you think you are a superhero, but because it's a part of your job and or a part of your calling. This is why you all have warrant cards. You put your very lives on the line each day so that the rest of us can sleep at night.
Meantime, the police commissioner is again calling on all Bahamians to join forces with law enforcement officials in order to ensure the war on crime is won, as the carnage being experienced on the streets affects everyone.
Arresting people will not fix this. Warehousing and just incarcerating them will not fix this. This is going to take some serious efforts and some groundbreaking initiatives by all sectors of this society, all sectors, I repeat, to turn this around.
Still, Greenslade says they remain encouraged, despite the noise in the market, that 2016 will be a better year in the fight against crime. C.S. Scatterly, ZNS Network News.
Well, as the war on crime continues, the discussion is also deepening on the role of the Privy Council. Last week, a retired justice called for the Court of Appeal to be the final voice of authority on legal matters and not the Privy Council in London. Well, today, the Attorney General fielded questions on this issue. This was her response to whether or not she feels the Privy Council should be abolished and a local court at that level instituted.
It's not something that could be done lightly. It would be something that requires serious consideration and, most importantly, extensive consultation with the Bahamian people. The system of justice is here to serve our people, and that's a decision that no politician, no member of parliament, no member of cabinet should take on their own.
Now, the minister's comments came this morning as the Eugene DePuch Law School celebrated Legal Education Week. The annual event was officially launched this morning at the Harry Seymour Library at the College of the Bahamas. The Attorney General also gave this update on the status of the Freedom of Information Act.
There's a process. There's no magic opportunity to make it work overnight. We have to understand and we have to make sure that everything is in place, including the resources, human resources, and material resources that enable the procedure to work. Minister Fitzgerald, who is driving this process, is in fact this week meeting with the cross-section stakeholder team, and we expect it to be unveiled in cabinet first, and then into Parliament for first reading before, I would say, the budget. That's what we're aiming for. We'll be trying our best with stakeholders to get it right.
A time frame has now been set for the government to hold the highly controversial referendum on gender equality. Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage revealed today where the government now stands on the issue, with hopes of putting that referendum on this year. Our Janaea Noel Ferguson has more.
The long-awaited constitutional referendum on gender equality expected to be realized this year, well ahead of the 2017 general elections. Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage disclosed that after a number of missed deadlines, the latest in November 2014, the referendum will be conducted this year.
It's very much on the books. The matter will be dealt with in Parliament during this month. When Parliament will have to make its decision about the bills, and the referendum is likely to be carried out before the middle of this year.
Before the middle of this year?
Yes.
There was much controversy surrounding those constitutional amendments which seek to give a child born outside the Bahamas to a Bahamian-born mother and non-Bahamian father the same automatic right to Bahamian citizenship, to enable a Bahamian woman who marries a foreign man the same access to Bahamian citizenship, to give an unwed Bahamian father the same right to pass citizenship to his child. And Bill 4 involves the insertion of the word sex in Article 26 of the Constitution to make it unconstitutional to discriminate based on whether someone is male or female. Various sectors had concerns over Amendments 3 and 4, claiming it would open a Pandora's box for citizenship and same-sex marriage. Government indicated that the bills could not be moved in Parliament as the opposition had varying views on the amendments.
Well, as I understand it, the opposition is not going to take a position on it. They're going to leave it up to their members to do what members feel is right for them. We expect to get some support from the opposition, and we expect our government members to support the bills.
In 2002, the F&M government held a referendum asking voters if they supported the removal of constitutional discrimination against women. The majority of people who voted in that poll said no to all 5 questions. While in opposition at the time, the PLP had urged voters to vote no, citing a flawed process. Nottage said it was important to go back to Parliament at this time to see where members now stand on the bills, as opinions may now have changed.
And I expect that there may be some changes in people's positions. We won't know until we go back to Parliament with that on our agenda.
Now, the bills to amend the Constitution for gender equality have remained in the Committee of the Whole at the House of Assembly since 2014. During the last referendum on gaming, taxpayers paid about $1.2 million for that referendum. Nottage, however, says it's unclear how much this referendum will cost. Janaea Noel Ferguson, ZNES Network News.